This is a song about my dad, Louis Hoekstra Jr. He was an end in himself. He was a dream up on a shelf. Did just about every old thing he could think to do. Always had the time to chat, a little of this, a little of that. He was a little bit much. I never did get enough. He'd step into a Menards or a Phillips 66 quick mart, buy a 5-minute friend for $1.32. Get a styrofoam cup of coffee, bag of popcorn if it was free. He was a little bit much. I never did get enough. Never know why nobody ever thought to call him Big Lou. He wasn't one bit hard of heart. He wasn't rough or tough that way. Wasn't one for guns, but we killed us a fish or two. He never said fuck, even once, but there was shit he would say. He was a little bit much. I never did get enough. He made friends with a mechanic when we broke down in Kentucky. Turns out Herschel's dream, it was Lou's dream too. Got us broke down on the old sour, way off Sunshine Key. He was a little too much. I never did quite get enough. I'll never know why nobody ever thought to call him Big Lou. Never passed up a U-pick, had us picking in the hot, hot sun. Never picked a guitar, but he picked a tomato or two. He was a poor depression kid. He knew a bargain, oh yes he did. He was a little too much. I never did get quite enough. He was square and steady when it counted. He was a deacon after all. Taught business, sent his kids to the Christian schools. Was a time or two he got a little lost. I guess every dream has its cost. He was a little too much. I never did get quite enough. I'll never know why nobody ever thought to call him Big Lou. Well, he died at home in bed. His family gathered round. Doris never quite got the news. She was so confused. I like to think his curious heart blew the gates of heaven clear apart. He was a little too much. I never got quite enough. He was an end in of himself. He was a dream up on a shelf. Did just about every old thing he could think to do. Always had time to chat, a little of this, a little of that. It was a little too much. I never got quite enough. Don't know why nobody ever thought to call him Big Lou. I'll never know why nobody ever thought to call him Big Lou. I'll never know why nobody ever thought to call him Big Lou. Sorry, I had to close my eyes there for a little bit. Thanks for listening. I think that's all true stuff. I don't know if anybody ever called him Big Lou. I know I've heard that nickname, and kind of sticks in my head, so I probably did hear somebody call him that, but I can't honestly recall exactly who that was. And somehow the lyric came out the way it came out. So that's the only part that might be inaccurate. And some of the other parts might be my limited knowledge as his youngest son. I'm sure there's probably an F-bomb somewhere in his existence. He fell off a roof and broke his arm one time. He's hit his thumb with a hammer a bunch of times. He built decks with my uncle's pool business. He built a cottage with my uncle. He built his own house that he lived in for many years. So I don't know if he'd do all that without ever saying fuck once, but he was a real bargain hunter. He loved to shop. Meyer was his favorite store, and Menards was the close second. And he got involved with this guy. I think it's because on a family vacation down to Florida, either on the way there or on the way back, our car broke down, or our truck with a camper on top, and Herschel Joyner fixed it. And Dad talks with everybody he meets. Yeah, or he did. And made friends with this guy, and they were a completely unlikely pair. Yeah, kind of stuff I don't know if it can happen anymore. Very working class Southern guy, just about as much of a cracker as you could be. Pals with a community college teacher from West Michigan. And Dad glommed himself onto Herschel's adventures, which had to do with commercial fishing out of Ohio Key, also known as Sunshine Key in the Florida Keys. And we started camping at Sunshine Key, and we go out on Herschel's boat with him. And there were misadventures. There was a boat called the Old Sour that broke down, and they were drifting and trying to get help. And I don't think I personally was on that boat, but my family members were. There was a lot of days I remember going out pulling lobster traps and catching spiny lobsters and eating those back at the campground, and other kinds of sport fishing. And eventually Herschel got into longline fishing, which was like perfect storm kind of fishing. And he got a big 80-foot boat with outriggers that would keep the boat, planing. And 11 miles of nylon cord, basically, and floats that were placed every, X miles, and big hooks that hung down off of it on thick monofilament, like, I don't know, the hook itself was at least 5 or 6 inches long. And we went out on a trip with them where we were trying to catch swordfish, and inadvertently caught some mako sharks, and the mako sharks ate some of the swordfish. It was a dirty business. Adult me, I'm so tenderhearted, I can't even imagine the kind of stuff that they would do. They would get a bluefin tuna. That was the other thing they were fishing for. And when it came in to the boat, one of the guys, as soon as it was on the deck, would hop onto it with a claw hammer and just beat its brains out so that it would stop battering itself against the deck. And then they would lay it in that orientation on the ice, and the fish was of greater value because half of it had good texture and muscle structure, and it wasn't beaten up. So that was the kind of stuff I was exposed to. I think I was 10 or 11. I went on this trip. We were within sight of the gunboats at Cuba. The trip dragged on. We didn't catch enough fish to pay for the cost of the ice that it took to pack it and get it back safely to the port because of the sharks. And there was, adult problems that go into commercial fishing, which is a very stressful job. And so Herschel didn't want to go back because he hadn't caught enough fish yet. So he dropped us off at Fort Jefferson National Monument, which is on a tiny island, and I think it's called the Dry Tortugas, or near there, way, way down off the end of the Florida Keys. And we got a little tiny puddle jumper plane to Miami and got the plane back to home to Detroit and eventually Grand Rapids. And my mom the whole time was taking pills and stuff because there weren't cell phones back then. She didn't know what had happened to us. We just weren't back. And she was afraid the worst had happened. Of course, my uncle's telling her stories about sharks and stuff. That was the mid-1980s or early 1980s, late 1970s when all this stuff was happening.